Have you ever walked into a room and said nothing, yet felt everything shift? Have you ever watched someone unravel not by your words, but by your silence? Have you ever been accused of being too quiet, too intense, or too distant, only to later watch the same people become disturbed by how deeply you understand them? Welcome to the INFJ Insight, the rarest personality type in the world. You, the INFJ, are not loud. You're not confrontational. You don't seek control through chaos. You dismantle illusions without ever raising your voice. You make people see parts of themselves they've buried for years, and you do it with stillness, depth, and truth. INFJs are not here to play social games. You're here to rewrite them. And that's exactly why the world doesn't see you coming, until it's too late. You're not aggressive. You're not explosive. But you're lethal in the psychological realm. That's why they call you the silent assassin. Not of people, but of falsehoods, masks, egos, and emotional manipulation. In this deep dive, we'll explore what makes INFJs so powerful, and why so many underestimate your quiet nature, until your insight exposes everything they're trying to hide. 1. You observe what others overlook. INFJs walk into a room and immediately scan for patterns, energy shifts, micro-expressions, and emotional inconsistencies. You're not interested in small talk, you're deciphering silent screams. While others speak to be heard, you listen to understand. You gather data not for gossip, but for precision. You pick up on a glance that lingers too long, a sentence that trails off unnaturally, a smile that doesn't meet the eyes. You don't just observe people, you absorb them. You feel their anxiety before they voice it. You sense betrayal before it happens. And once you see it, you never forget it. You file it away. Quietly. Meticulously. Until the truth reveals itself. And this observational acuity? It's your first weapon, soft, unseen, but devastating when activated. 2. Your silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. INFJs are often labeled as quiet or shy. But silence for the INFJ is not absence, it's choice. It's control. It's intelligence at work. You don't speak unless there's something real to say. You'd rather endure awkwardness than fill space with noise. And this restraint is unsettling to those who equate talking with power. But here's the truth. Your silence is a mirror. It forces people to hear their own thoughts. To sit with their own discomfort. To wonder what you're really thinking. And often, your silence triggers insecurity, not because you're judging them, but because they feel seen. That's when the INFJ becomes dangerous. You don't need to confront. You only need to pause. Your silence becomes a psychological edge, a boundary they can't cross, a presence they can't ignore. 3. You unravel people with precision. When an INFJ decides to speak, it's never accidental. It's intentional. Measured. Designed to illuminate what's been denied. You've likely watched someone break down in a conversation with you, not because you attacked them, but because you told the truth so clearly, they had nowhere to hide. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Highly intelligent INFJs wield insight like a scalpel. You cut through manipulation, expose hypocrisy, and reveal contradictions, not loudly, but with surgical accuracy. And this level of clarity? It dismantles people who've built identities on illusion. They call you too intense, because you're not afraid to say what others dance around. You're not playing personality politics. You're playing soul truth. And when your words land, they leave a mark. 4. You read energy like a language. The INFJ doesn't just listen to tone or observe behavior, you read energy. You feel when someone's words don't match their energy. You know when a room shifts even if nothing is said. You feel tension before it surfaces. And often, you carry that tension because you can't unfeel it. But this sensitivity? It's not a flaw. It's radar. It's a tracking system that allows you to navigate emotional terrain that most can't see. And because of this, people can't lie to you, not really. They can say the right things, but you already know the truth. You can sense when someone is jealous, threatened, dishonest, even if they smile in your face. This makes you impossible to fool. And in a world addicted to image, your ability to feel truth is revolutionary. 5. You expose inauthenticity without trying. Just by being yourself, grounded, honest, deep, you make others aware of their own masks. You've probably had friends or acquaintances pull away from you without explanation. Not because you hurt them, but because your authenticity made their fakeness impossible to sustain. The INFJ is a mirror, and mirrors don't lie. They reflect. People who hide behind bravado, narcissism, or superficiality often feel threatened by your presence. Not because you're attacking them, but because they can't be false around you. You hold a standard, not with judgment, but with vibration. And that standard repels people who aren't ready to face themselves. That's what makes you a silent assassin. You never need to call them out. You just need to show up. 6. Your withdrawals are brutal. INFJs give deeply. When you love with every layer of your being. You invest, support, uplift. But when someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, you withdraw. And when an INFJ withdraws, it's silent. Complete. Final. There are no fireworks. No revenge. No drama. Just absence. And that absence haunts. People don't realize how much they depended on your emotional presence, until it's gone. Your silence after betrayal is louder than any confrontation. That's when they start to unravel. Because they no longer have access to your emotional warmth, your insight, your support. And what remains is the void, a mirror they can't fill. You don't destroy people. You just stop fueling them. And that's enough. 7. You can't be controlled. INFJs don't chase popularity, approval, or power. You chase alignment. Meaning, purpose. This makes you immune to most control tactics. Guilt, manipulation, peer pressure. They bounce off of you when you're grounded in your truth. People can't coerce you into roles you've outgrown. They can't shame you into submission. You'll leave toxic environments, relationships, even careers, without warning, if they no longer resonate with your soul. That unpredictability is power. Because you can't be bought. You can't be baited. And you definitely can't be bullied. You'll take your solitude over any situation that costs you your peace. That makes you unstoppable in a world built on compliance. 8. You disarm with compassion, and that's terrifying. You don't fight evil with evil. You don't need to. Your compassion disarms people in ways they don't understand. You make people feel seen, and that can be terrifying. Because once someone is seen, they can no longer pretend. You invite people to confront their own humanity, their pain, their shadows, their longings. Even those who try to manipulate you often find themselves confessing their deepest wounds. Why? Because your energy creates space for truth. You hold compassion not as weakness, but as mastery. You know pain. You've transformed it. And that transformation becomes a blueprint for others. People come to you for light, but they don't always survive the honesty that comes with it. You were never meant to be loud. You were meant to be legendary. INFJ, you are not here to dominate with force. You're here to transmute with presence. To observe. To reflect. To dismantle illusions with quiet truth. You are the silent assassin of lies, of ego, of emotional games. Not because you wish to harm, but because you refuse to be fooled. You move in purpose. You speak in impact. You love with depth. And when you withdraw, the world notices. Never let the world tell you your quiet is weakness. It's your edge. Your shield. Your secret weapon. So stay still. Stay strange. Stay sovereign. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be real. And that, INFJ, is what makes you unforgettable. Be silent, but let your silence speak truth louder than their noise ever could. Did this speak to your INFJ soul? Tell us how you've experienced this in your life. Hit like, share with a fellow INFJ, and subscribe for more deep, identity-based content for the rarest souls on Earth, the INFJ personality. Stay safe, and see you in the next one.